Good afternoon, everybody. Darrell Steed, SmartWolf Consulting. We're doing another video series today, August 20th, 2024. Today is a fantastic day, not just because it's a Tuesday, it's auction day, buying cars, getting the week going. We have 11 days left in this month to include one of the biggest holiday weekends for the auto industry with Labor Day, but it's also my birthday. Yes, I am 44 today, and it is fantastic. I love everything about, getting to be another year older. Someone asked me how old I feel, mentally about 12 and physically about 25. But we're coming today to really talk about something that's interesting. I saw my good friend, Brian Kramer, he's doing a video series with the Ford team about, transparency and trust. And I thought, what a better idea than to kind of piggyback on that and talk to giving hints and tips and tricks of things that you can do in the auto industry or just any industry, right? And that's going to make for a better situation for profitability, experience, things of that nature. And the key word of the day is trust. Trust is a big word. Trust works in your life with relationships. Trust works with your children, works with your coworkers, works in a business model. And it's something that, when it's lost, it's very hard to get back. And it's one of those things you have to earn. I'm more of one of those people that just give it to somebody. And then if they lose it, then I'm one of those people that typically is not going to give it to you a second time. But there are some people that make you earn it. And I think we need to remember that is that we can't just assume that people are going to just trust us and that they're just going to trust because you've been there. So I was on a call this morning and they were talking about why they should come to that store and why they should sell to them. And that's a big thing of having a why sell to us message, very much like a why buy to us message. However, we went a little bit different route on this because they said that they were family owned and been there for 40 years. And so that's the challenge. Right? That's the challenge is so we're just supposed to trust you because you're family owned. You've been there. If you're just now getting into acquisitions or you're just now doing something different like service drive, you haven't established that trust in that part of the business. Maybe they trust you to buy a car from, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have the same business model on the sales side. So keep that in mind, right? Trust is big. And what have you done to earn that trust? So the next thing I challenge them with is, so you've been here for 50 years, you're family owned. What have you done for the community? What have you done to give back? What have you done to establish that trust of doing business with you rather than the companies who have done it well? For quite some time, CarMax and now Carvana, they established trust by saying, here you go, this is what we're going to do. And then shockingly enough, this is exactly what they're going to do. And so they established trust by doing what they say and saying what they do. I'm sorry, I always get that backwards. Saying what you do and then doing what you say, right? So I did a video the other day and it's basically put your money where your mouth is. Like you say, I'm going to do these things and then you don't follow through. You got to live it through. So when you're thinking about trust is that consumer experience, or if you think about what you're doing is, why should I trust you? Are you transparent? Are you open? Are you educative? In the sense, do you give them the ability to get education why they're trying to make a decision? Or do you give them just two options, say take it or leave it? I'm more one for transparency and giving the ability to actually educate people when I discuss things with them so that they can make an educated decision so it doesn't feel like it's coming from an emotional place, it's coming from a smart and mental place. Typically, people make better decisions when they're from a mental side rather than an emotional side. So when we're thinking about trust, right, 5 letters, right, T-R-U-S-T. And that's really great to understand because that's how you keep things simple. Right? 5 letters, 5 fingers on your hand. Keep everything 5 steps or less. Right? Is I need you to trust me. I want you to trust me, but have I earned that? Another way to think about this is I know that it will kind of be funny to some people, but if any of you guys have ever experienced online dating. Now, a couple years ago, then when I had gotten divorced, I started doing online dating. And there's somewhere where you really have to have trust, right? You're on these platforms and you're communicating within these platforms. And the real reason why is they don't trust you. They don't know who you are. And so you have to communicate via the platform so that it keeps that anonymity amongst people other than maybe a picture, assuming that they're not catfishing you, is that you have to earn the right to get their phone number or to meet them in person, right? So when you think about that, trust is a full circle thing that happens in the world, but we typically, that I see in the auto industry and just in life, is that we just assume that like, well, I'm a good guy, or I'm a good girl, or I'm a trustworthy person. And I'm not saying you're not, but do other people know that? And do your actions follow up with that type of engagement with the consumer? Like, do your actions show that you're trustworthy, or do you say a lot of things, but then you don't live that same life? So in the auto industry, getting back to where I focus in is not the acquisition, or when you're training salespeople, is train them to be able to be trusted, right? Don't hide away from the facts. Don't hide away from giving people anything that can educate them, whether you're the best choice or not. People still buy from people and people still sell from people, but they want to deal with people that they can trust and that they want in their network. So that is a big issue in the sense of, do you give the information to the consumer and let them make an educated decision, or do you hide it from them because you don't want to give that to them, right? That's something that would show a level of mistrust to you, to the customer, and from the customer to you. Don't be afraid to trust people. Don't be afraid to be trusted. People, you may not win every deal, which I know, oh my gosh, why would we say something like that? Because at the end of the day, okay, you're going to win all the little battles, right? If you don't win one, it's okay, because you keep doing the right thing and you do it when people notice, and when they don't notice, you're going to come out on top. And so I kind of like talking about that in the way of trust, because that's kind of the experience factor, right? It's like having that when they come in, they feel safe, they feel secure. There's a trust volume to the review factor, right? Like when people say these things, unless you're paying people for reviews, which I don't even think that's a thing anymore. But when they give these reviews, why would they lie? So it also allows people to see that, and then they build trust through that review, or through video testimonials, or those type of things where people have expressed what you did when they were there, right? You said one thing to them, and then did you back it up? And I think that's also another layer of trust that most people don't focus on. Now, the helpful hint of the week, or for this particular video, would be, let's say you wanted to do something in the service drive. The service drive is a captive market for the auto industry, and it's radically underutilized for acquisition and consumer experience outside of just servicing vehicles. You want them to trust you, okay? Give them the options, right? So right now in service, in most service lanes, we can fix our car, or then you say, hey, if we can't fix it, we'll get you a salesperson to replace it. Well, what if they could sell their car too? What if we give them an A, B, and a C, right? And if you give them these options and you give them a value backed by third-party validation, and the service advisor does it, starts the conversation. You're not selling them anything. You're giving them options. You're giving them things that they now can make an educated decision. For instance, I come in, I bring my truck in for service. It's got $4,200 worth of work that needs to be done on it to make it tip-top shape. Well, wouldn't it be nice for a consumer to know that your truck's only worth $3,000? What do you think they're going to do? Would they sell their truck, or would they fix their truck that's only worth $3,000 for $4,200? See, we don't actually think about it like that to a consumer. We're just like, oh, we want the service work. Well, is that the best opportunity for the consumer? Is that going to get them coming back to you in the future? We have to stop thinking about these things as a single point transaction and start focusing on the behaviors that we say we want in the automotive industry, which is that we want them to continue coming back and we want their family to come in. And if we're going to say those things, then do them. Create the experience that's going to create the engagement with a customer that they can feel safe and secure, that you're giving them multiple options so they can make an educated decision. How much do you think a consumer would trust you if you gave them these options? How much do you think a customer would appreciate the fact that they're getting something from their service advisor outside of them spending money, but something that they can elect to have done or sell their car, and it's something that no one else has done for them before? So again, dealer challenges is look at your service drive. I can tell you SmartWolf Consulting is willing to help you with that. I do have some open availability for clients that may want to sign up with the services. But even if you didn't, right, look at that and really challenge yourself of, are you doing what you say and saying what you do, right? Do you actually hey, this is how we treat our customers. This is the business model we want to run. And then does that actually look like what you've actually said you're going to do? Or are you giving off a lot of face time and then you're not really following through? But with that all being said is keep in mind the word trust. What do you do in your experience with your employees with yourself to make people want to trust you. Make people not have to question what you guys do, and really starting to change the global view of the automotive industry. It starts with you, and it's as easy as making a choice. Again, tips and tricks and a quick conversation about trust in the consumer experience with Darrell Steed and SmartWolf Consulting. Talk to you again later this week.